My name is Jaime Souder, and looking back at my year studying in Strasbourg, France, I can reflect on three things that particularly have influenced me and helped make me a more effective physician leader today. The first was that I was challenged to understand what my own values and assumptions were about what is right and wrong. The second was that I was exposed to a huge amount of uncertainty, and I learned to tolerate it. Eventually, I even came to seek it out because it represented opportunities for me. The third thing that I learned that is of immense value is the ability to tolerate ambiguity. Whether I'm practicing clinical medicine, dealing with ethical dilemmas, or complicated psychosocial circumstances about a patient's care, or if I think about myself more broadly in the healthcare industry, I can say that this ability has helped me incredibly. Healthcare is currently in a period of immense disruption as society redefines what right and wrong are as we think about healthcare and the way it is delivered. I furthermore work in a complicated and highly matrixed organization with many stakeholders, each of which is trying to advocate for a different way forward. Looking back, I can truly say that my experience studying abroad was invaluable because it allowed me to learn how to examine my own assumptions and values about right and wrong, to appreciate and even seek out uncertainty as a source of opportunity, and to tolerate ambiguity. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Danielle Fulmer, and I studied abroad in the Gambia the spring of my junior year at Juniata College. And studying abroad had a really important impact on my life. It changed me in ways that I wasn't really aware of at the time, but looking back, the impact on me was one that really is part of who I am and where I am today. So I want to talk about two main ways that studying abroad impacted me. The first is that it taught me how to be a person who can deal with uncertainty and who's comfortable taking risks and being flexible. This isn't really something that's innate to me or my personality. I am naturally a person who is very anxious about risk and uncertainty. I like to know what to expect. I like things to be structured, and I like to have a plan. Studying abroad was a safe environment for me to learn that I could trust myself to take care of things and to work things out, even if in the moment I wasn't really sure what to do and I wasn't really sure that everything was going to be all right. And this is really important for me professionally and personally. So I grew up in a really small town, and after leaving Juniata, I moved to new cities by myself, not even knowing, if things were going to work out. And these risks were a really important part of where I am today. And I don't think that I would have had enough courage to take them if I hadn't studied abroad. In addition, in my professional role now, I support a lot of organizational change management. So I'm actually the one who's equipped not only to bring myself through change, and to handle uncertainty, but to kind of be someone who can guide others through that process as well. The other way that studying abroad really impacted me is it helped to develop my critical thinking skills. So it helped me to understand that problems in the world are way more gray and nuanced than I thought they were. Going along the first point, I'm naturally a person who leans toward pretty black and white thinking. Studying abroad changed that for me. It helped me to be way more nuanced, to be more aware of unintended consequences, and the importance of context when thinking about the best way to solve a problem. And even though I wasn't out there solving great problems while I studied abroad, the observations I made and the things I learned I carry with me until now. And even though there were a lot of things that were very unique about my study abroad environment, studying abroad for me really awakened an interest and an awareness in the connections between the local and the global that I keep with me to this day. So studying abroad was a very important experience for me, and I hope many other students had that experience as well.
Hi, my name is Jaime Fell, and I graduated from Juniata in 2017. I'm currently in my second year of law school, and I've recently accepted a position with Cozen O'Connor for the summer. Now, while I was at Juniata, I had the opportunity to study abroad in Dalian, China, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I grew up in a really small town, a population roughly 500 people, I think there were 2 African American students in my high school, and that was the extent of the diversity. So going to Dalian was such a wake-up call for me, because I'd never experienced what so many people around me have experienced. I woke up in Dalian my first night there. There's roughly 30,000 students there, and I was one of 4 Westerners there. So it was eye-opening to be on the other side of that. And just the experiences that studying abroad opened up for me. I met so many great people over there. I had the opportunity to teach college English as a junior in college myself. Just an excellent experience. And those connections, I still have those today. I know last winter I had 2 of my students actually were studying abroad in the United States, and they spent Christmas with me and my family. And as of right now, I'm actually planning a trip to Myanmar to visit one of my friends in the Peace Corps. But after that, I'm going back to China to visit with some of my friends. And then I guess the other big thing about studying abroad too is it looks great on a resume. I just went through the interview process at law school. It's something that all second-year students do. And in every single interview, we talked about my study abroad experience. And in most of the interviews, that was the bulk of the conversation. And I did fairly well in that interview process, and I would credit a lot of that to studying abroad. I guess just to sum this all up, if you had the chance to study abroad, you have to take it. It was hands down one of the best experiences of my life.
Hi, my name is Scott Sloat, and I graduated from Juniata in 2010. During my time at Juniata, I did a summer abroad program and a semester abroad program in Mexico. I really cannot emphasize enough how beneficial those experiences were for me, both on a personal and a professional level. It was during my time in Mexico that I gained some valuable international experience. I became proficient in Spanish, and I was really able to expand my network beyond just the Juniata community. On a more personal level, studying abroad took me outside of my comfort zone. I learned how to handle myself in an unfamiliar environment, and I learned how to deal with some brand new challenges that I think really helped me to grow as a person. It's for all of these reasons that I think that studying abroad is totally worth its weight in gold. It prepared me well for when I joined the Peace Corps after graduation, and for when I was applying to graduate schools later on. I don't think that I would be where I am today if it wasn't for my experiences in Mexico, and I'm forever grateful to Juniata for giving me that opportunity. Thank you very much.
My name is Marlene Matula, and I graduated from Juniata's class of 2017. I'm originally from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, which has been ranked in the top 10 for the least diverse cities in America. So when choosing a college, I wanted someplace that would offer me that small town community feeling, but also offer me international opportunities. Lo and behold, that was Juniata. And while there, I had the opportunity to study abroad in the Gambia, Africa, and Shanghai, China. I also did a semester at the Washington Center in DC, interning for the Department of State. And through all of those experiences, I can honestly say, study abroad forces you to step outside your comfort zone. Stand tall with the presence of adversity, and overcome personal and cultural differences. You learn how to become stronger, less scared to take on new challenges. For me, that was graduating with the Internationals Issues POE and doing a complete 360, moving 3.5 hours away to start a career in finance at Vanguard. Doing fairly poor in economics classes, that was a stretch. However, if I could travel abroad to Africa and Asia and survive, I knew I could do the same thing at Vanguard. And little over a year later, I have come so far from Googling what is a mutual fund. I am now an investment consultant educating clients about their financial choices. And in a little over a year, I will be a financial advisor at one of the world's largest financial firms. I'm also taking another huge leap and studying for the Certified Financial Planners exam, which I plan to pass in July of 2019. Study abroad isn't a vacation. It truly is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that changes you. And if nothing else, it makes you stronger and shows you what you can achieve if only you step outside of your comfort zone.
Hi everyone, my name is Carolyn Gibson and I'm a 2011 graduate of Juniata College. My POE and my degree now are in international studies. I did a lot of wonderful, awesome things while I was a student at Juniata, but definitely the most important, impactful part of my Juniata experience was when I studied abroad in the Gambia at the University of the Gambia in Western Africa during my spring semester of my junior year. And we were there for about 6 months of the year. So we had a really immersive, intense experience. While I was there, I was able to take courses in history and politics. I took an African literature course where we read plays by African playwrights and writers. And I was really able to apply a lot of what I had learned previously in the classroom at Juniata about colonialism, colonial policy, political theory, and then also current economic policies of the United States, the EU, the UN on developing nations and in developing nations. And I was able to spend time really witnessing and understanding how those were affecting normal Gambian people who were just living their normal lives, going to school, going to work, getting married, having kids. And it was a really great way for me to experience my education. Another really important part that I still take with me to this day is the experience was a really great way to understand and appreciate and value the different ways that people live their normal lives, and to especially appreciate and value when those lives look different and are different than what we would choose or what I would choose to do. And I think that's something that is sorely lacking from our community and from our discourse now. And I think that study abroad is such a valuable way for students to immerse themselves and learn about other cultures and communities, and to come up against that difference and to understand and appreciate that it's not maybe what I would do, but it's what someone else is choosing and it works for them, and it is equally as valuable as what I would choose to do. And I think that's something that really students only learn when they do study abroad. And the final thing that I wanted to share with you, study abroad and international education is actually what I do now. So we're in my office at Villanova University, big map on the wall, and I am the assistant director in the Office of Education Abroad here at Villanova, and I manage our short-term and summer program. So I have the pleasure of working with undergraduate students and also graduate students here at Villanova to help them to find study abroad programs that work for them academically and personally and help prepare them for life after college. There is no more valuable experience than study abroad while you are in college. Juniata students are lucky to have the options that they do, and it really is an opportunity that every student should at the very least be able to choose if it's right for them or not. And I'm so thankful that I was asked to share my experience about my time in the Gambia and my time at Juniata College. Thank you.
My name is Sierra and I am a 2018 Juniata College graduate. When I was a junior, I studied abroad in Madrid, Spain, and there are so many things I could talk about in terms of why someone should study abroad and how much it helped me and how much it impacted my life. But there are two things specifically I'd like to talk about in terms of how study abroad impacted my professional growth. So first of all, having a professional experience in another culture and language was something that really was life-changing, and I use the skills that I got there every single day. I use the language skills, I use the multicultural competence every single day. And a second way is that study abroad really prepares you to deal with ambiguity. So every single day while you're abroad, you have to deal with situations where you have to be adjustable, you have to be flexible, you don't really know what the expectations are, you just have to figure it out. A lot of times in college, I think that professors and teachers will just give you the directions. They'll make it so clear what they expect of you that there's not a whole lot of room for learning how to navigate these ambiguous situations. But while you're abroad, there's so much that you have to do independently, so many decisions you have to make. And that is something that I really feel like prepared me for my job today and prepared me to live independently in ways that college really didn't. So I think that study abroad is such an important part of an undergraduate education. And I hope that a lot more people at Juniata choose to study abroad.
My name is Cody Cooper. I'm a 2016 graduate from Juniata College. I studied abroad in Shanghai, China, and I'm currently a Peace Corps volunteer in Myanmar as an English teacher. I think my study abroad experience was very valuable for two key reasons. The first would be learning how to deal with ambiguity in everyday situations, and the second would be taking initiative. In terms of ambiguity, I could not get around based on my English, and my Chinese was relatively weak. As a result, I had to learn how to read the situation. I had to learn how to work based on context. I had to look at what I thought the end goal was, what I thought the people around me, what their goals were, and then I had to make do with that. In terms of the initiative, it was never enough just to sit back and wait for things to happen. If I had a project that I needed finished, I knew that I had to take care of it far in advance because there was always something that could come up and delay it, whether that was language deficiencies or government bureaucracy or just cultural differences that I didn't understand. It was really important for me to take the initiative, go out and get whatever I needed because nobody was going to hold my hand, and I thought that was a very valuable experience.
Hey Juniata, my name is Victoria and I graduated in 2017. While I was at Juniata, I did 2 short-term study abroad trips, one to the Gambia and one to Vietnam, both with Professor Nagengast. Since Juniata, I am now a second-year pharmacy student at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy. And this past summer, I actually received a grant to go back to the Gambia to work on healthcare system strengthening through drafting occupational healthcare worker safety policy with their Ministry of Health. So now will be graduating pharmacy school in 2 years, and I'm trying to figure out ways that I can incorporate global health into my degree. And I'm thinking maybe I can graduate and do infectious disease work abroad. So yeah, thanks, Juniata.
Hello, my name is Amber, and I've actually studied abroad twice at Juniata, and I'm so thankful for both those opportunities. I went to the Gambia the summer after my freshman year, and then I studied for a full semester in Sevilla, Spain, the fall of my junior year. And from a personal standpoint and from a career standpoint, I could not be happier that I went abroad. I mean, I probably wouldn't have the job I have today if that wouldn't have been for my abroad experience. So I work for a local company. We're called New Pig, and we manufacture and sell absorbents, like for industrial spills, oil spills, chemical spills, any of that kind of thing. And to date, we sell into 118 different countries. I work with the international team, and my study abroad experience has been tremendously helpful in helping me with, this new job. My little bit of Spanish that I have has been super helpful with dealing with customers from Latin America. We have so many distributors down there, and I think they really appreciate that I make the effort to speak their language, and I have a bit of an understanding of the culture. And then, since I went to the Gambia, it's been helpful with our African customers. We're trying really hard to make a presence there, but no one in my team's ever been to Africa, so it's been helpful that, I'm the one that they can kind of go to for, if they have questions about the culture, and just it's been very, very helpful to that, to the team. And then also, I've actually just recently traveled on my first international business trip by myself too, and that was to Scotland. And the VP of the company was totally okay with sending me by myself because I've studied abroad before and I know how to travel by myself, and he wasn't worried about me getting lost or not making it or being afraid. So it's been great. Studying abroad has given me the confidence. I'm okay with not knowing what's happening and figuring it out. And I think everyone should study abroad at some point.
Hi, my name is Meg Hourigan. I graduated from Juniata College in 2013, and I studied abroad during my junior year in Quito, Ecuador. I wanted to talk about some of the ways that I was impacted by studying abroad. First and most obviously, I got to see places that I always dreamed of, like the Galapagos Islands and the Amazon rainforest. But secondly, and more importantly, I was taught history from a perspective that's not usually taught in the global north, that really shaped my worldview regarding colonization. Third, I began to see food and farming as an important part of social justice. I volunteered at a boys detention center in Quito, and I worked there with residents who were running an organic garden. And that's really shaped my career path. I'm now a policy analyst for a food justice organization called Hartford Food System. And fourth, I grew up in the country. I grew up in a small town, graduated high school with 65 people. I obviously went to Juniata College, which is a small school in a small community. And studying abroad dropped me into a city of 2 million people where I did not speak the language as well as I thought I was going to speak the language. And that really taught me to be adaptable and self-reliant. And I really feel that since that time, there hasn't really been anything in my life that I felt like I wasn't able to do. So study abroad was absolutely one of the most important things that I did as a student at Juniata College. And I think about it all the time.
Hey, Dr. Agnes, this is Jared and my new wife, Megan.
Hi.
We got married yesterday and we're on the way to the honeymoon. And we just wanted to make a short video about how much we like study abroad. I went to the Czech Republic and Morocco and the Gambia on a trip. And I'm getting a PhD in political science now at Ohio State, and studying abroad really helped me in my applications and taught me, I think, better about how different countries work.
And you're pointing it right at the steering wheel. I'm Meagan Schneiderman. I'm also class of 2012, and I did the trip to Senegal and the Gambia with Jared and some of our other friends, and I also spent a semester in Jalapa, Mexico. I got to work on my Spanish and get some experience in the medical field while out there and learning how that was different in Mexico. I'm now a resident in OBGYN at a hospital here in Columbus, Ohio, and studying abroad really has helped me learn how to take care of patients from all different cultural backgrounds, and I highly recommend study abroad to other students too.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Adam Nelson, class of 2002. My program of emphasis was international relations and China studies. Following my graduation, I moved to Washington, D.C. and took up a career in international development. Most of my career has focused on strengthening democratic institutions around the world, and I was really able to build off of that through my study abroad program at Juniata. During my junior year, I went to the Dalian Institute of Foreign Languages in Dalian, China. I was really a part of a wave of students starting to study China in a much more serious way. And I really believe that my experience in Dalian helped to give me not only a knowledge of a pivotal country of international relations, but also in a lot of ways the intercultural understanding and the skills of navigating difficult circumstances, difficult relationships when traveling and working abroad. I'm actually filming this video right now in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh. Cox's Bazar you might have heard of recently in the news. It's the community that is hosting more than 1 million Rohingya refugees. I'm here with my organization. We're looking at what our response would be for the refugee crisis. And I really believe that I wouldn't be where I am today, and my ability to do the work, including this work here on the refugees, if it wasn't for the experience that I had navigating my study abroad experience at Juniata. I particularly think that study abroad experiences at Juniata, where we're able to be placed in the more difficult environments in developing countries, are that much more valuable. I think all study abroad experiences are really great, but I really value my time being able to go to the People's Republic of China, the experience there, and the skills and capacities it has given to me for my career so far. A little shout out to Juniata overall. I'm so happy for my experience there. I love the college and hope to be back sometime soon. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Weber. I'm a 2005 Juniata graduate. I studied abroad in Quito, Ecuador in 2003. It was a tremendous experience, expanded my skills and my perspectives, my personality in a lot of ways. It was a stretching experience, laid the foundation for then pursuing a Fulbright grant where I did independent research in Peru for a year, which would not have been feasible had I not had that studied abroad experience. Both of the experiences then led to more experiences. I ended up doing field work in graduate school in Latin America. It stretched me in many ways, made me more adaptable, allowed me to appreciate more diverse perspectives in many ways. And none of this would have happened without the encouragement of my advisor, Emil Nagengas, who spoke to me as a father and said, Jeremy, you need to study abroad and somewhere that doesn't speak English. And I'm very thankful that he did that. I'm still reaping the benefits of it today.
Manaona from Madagascar. My name is Mary Claire Say, and I just graduated in the class of 2018. And I was fortunate enough to accept an education position with the Peace Corps here on the Big Red Island. Behind me is the school where I will be teaching for the next 2 years. I am about halfway through my PST, which is my pre-service training, and I will swear in as an official volunteer on November 21st. The Peace Corps is one of those experiences that asks you to use every skill that you have to fully integrate within your community and achieve your mission goals. Without the opportunity to study abroad at Juniata, I would not have the skills or confidence necessary to serve a full 27 months here in Madagascar. In the Peace Corps, we say that we plant the seed of a tree whose shade we might never be able to enjoy. I feel the same is for the abroad experiences. We send students away and see them return without always fully realizing the impact that that experience has had in their lives. I am here to tell you that that seed of curiosity, survivability, confidence, and adaptability planted by my Juniata study abroad opportunities is one of the reasons why I am here in Madagascar today. This is how global impact is achieved, seed by seed, tree by tree. Thank you, Juniata Study Abroad, for giving me skills to succeed, no matter where I choose to live in the world. Go Eagles!
I went to Juniata because of the study abroad program. Growing up as a poor kid in Indiana, I wanted to see the world, but I had no idea how I was going to do that. When I was a senior in high school and I was looking at colleges, I got this random little postcard from Juniata College in Huntington, Pennsylvania. Well, I don't know anything about that, but they talked a lot about their aggressive study abroad program, how many of their students went abroad, how easily affordable it was for students to go abroad, how many choices of places to go abroad. I'm going to go to Juniata. Everybody in my high school class was like, where's Juanita? Again, it's Juniata, and it's in Pennsylvania. Off I went. I was actually the only student from the state of Indiana at Juniata when I enrolled at Juniata College. I was far away from home, but I was well taken care of. I started as a geology major and quickly realized, yeah, rocks are really cool to look at, and I could be a hobbyist in terms of looking at geological formations, but spending the rest of my life looking at rocks, didn't really work out for me. Luckily, Juniata College had a liberal arts background, and I was taking classes all over campus, trying to fulfill a lot of my requirements for that first year. I found myself in an international politics class with Dr. Emil Nagengast. That class changed my life. I like to tell my students that today. I always say, yes, once I was just like you. I thought I knew everything. And then I had a professor who bullied me to death and told me I had to go to communist China, and I said, fine, I'll do it. And it changed my life. I went to China. Scary, communist China. And I realized, oh, it's not so scary. Yeah, there were some differences. Yeah, human rights, reproductive rights, very different there. Talked to a lot of people, got to know sort of the stories of Chinese history, of contemporary China, talked to a lot of my Chinese friends about the one-child policy. It wasn't as universally hated as I thought. How is that? I started to learn about hearing other perspectives, learning about other sorts of values besides just individual ones. This is interesting. Came back to Juniata for my senior year. Did my senior thesis on one-child policy and feminism. Not what I expected, but it was fascinating. Got accepted to the Peace Corps. I've lived in communist China. I could go anywhere. I was going to be stationed in the Middle East, in Jordan. Ooh, I'm going to go to the Middle East. This is exciting. Oh, Bush invaded Iraq. Okay, well, I was going to get reprogrammed to another program, but that was going to take a year. Okay, well, I'll just go hang out in Indiana again, figure out what I'm going to do. Public health. I don't even really know about that. We had a public health program, but I'd never really heard about it. Public health is what? Politics? Policy? Health? Reproductive rights? Social justice? Maybe this is the field for me. Went to grad school, got my MPH, got the opportunity to work with another professor who was doing work in Africa. I'd already been to communist China. Let's go to Africa, see what it's all about. I went to Africa again and again and again. I've been to Africa 11 times now. I've lived there twice. And I finally went back, got my PhD, and decided I want to have an impact on students, just the way Juniata professors had an impact on me. I now take my own students to Africa. This summer I was in Ghana teaching, and I had 12 students, and we were talking about various things, and I said something about living in China, and they said, "You lived in China?" And I was like, yeah. They were like, wait, you've lived in China, you go to Africa all the time. How did you do that? Well, it's kind of a funny story. It started at this really small school called Juniata. You've probably never heard of it. You probably would call it Juanita if you saw it. It was a great place. It helped me see the world. It pushed me out of my comfort zone. It told me that I could do anything that I wanted. It told me that I should look at things from lots of different perspectives. That's all I did. Juniata changed the course of my life. It's not a dramatic statement. It's true. If I hadn't have gone to Juniata, I would have never met Dr. Nagengast. He would have never harassed me to go to China. I would have never been able to see different perspectives so very different from my own. I'm grateful for Juniata. I'm grateful for China. And yes, I'm even grateful for Dr. Nagengast and his harassing ways. Thanks.